We've all just witnessed our worst performance of the season. Probably actually not the worst performance of the season. One of our worst performances in a while. I'm usually quite a positive Spurs fan. Some will say happy clapper. I've got nothing positive to say about that game there. Absolutely woeful, terrible, abysmal. All those words you can think of in your head, we were today. For a man, every man on that pitch, every player in a Tottenham Hotspur shirt was an absolute disgrace. And when I do these reactions, sometimes I, do sugarcoat them and think there are positives in some defeats. Like, for example, the Brighton game. We started off really well in that first half and then we absolutely bottled it. But today, there wasn't an ounce of positivity, positive energy to talk about that Tottenham display. I'm absolutely seething. I don't usually lose my head at Spurs, and I haven't since probably the Jose Mourinho era. But that today, I just can't get over how bad it was. I was literally, as soon as that goal went in, we just didn't look like we were going to score, did we? Absolutely abysmal. But before I go any further and you think, what is going on here? I don't know this guy. Why is he just losing his head and ranting? If you want to get down in that comment section down below, let me know what you thought of that game. I really want to know what you guys thought. I usually would defend some hot takes and certain things like that, but today I just can't believe what I've seen. So as I say, get in the comments down below. Leave a like if you are new around here, if you are enjoying my little rant so far, or even if you're, regular, get down and like that video because it really helps the channel. Subscribe as well, hit the notification bell, and we're usually doing lots of good videos on the Sonny Talk Spurs YouTube channel. Go and check out some of my other ones that I've posted throughout the week. But going back to the game, and we'll start by looking at the stats. And I know I've gone on a rant there about how bad we were. Palace were amazing. Palace were absolutely terrific. And obviously ends 1-0. Jean-Philippe Mateta with the goal. 14 shots for them. 6 on target. 33% possession. We had 67% possession and did absolutely nothing with it. We had 11 shots, 3 on target. And I can't really think of a notable chance that was really good for Spurs. Maybe the Maddison one in the first half. But apart from that, it was absolutely abysmal. Vicario just not looking confident with the ball at his feet. The defenders, the passing was terrible. I've not seen passing as bad for Spurs in a long while. Both fullbacks are looking a bit lackluster. It's just worrying when you see stuff like this, and the goal, the way the goal comes about. Romero chipping a ball to Van de Ven. Van de Ven sort of half slips, gives it away. Then the ball gets crossed in, Eze flicks it, Pedro Porro's not on the man, and Mateta taps it in, and Vicario rushes out, just really poor. I thought Basuma was poor, Kulusevski was terrible, got a yellow card really early on, and was just fouling left, right and centre, had to be taken off. Maddison, nowhere to be seen. Mikey Moore, I'll let off, he played 90 minutes midweek, but again, couldn't really get into the game. Johnson quiet, Solanke not being fed, and when he was, he just didn't really make the most of it. Richarlison comes on, not good. Sarr comes on, not good. Werner, there's no point talking about Werner. Don't know why he even bothers coming on, but just absolutely abysmal. And you look at some of those Palace players. This is a Palace team that have not won since the last day of last season, where they beat Aston Villa 5-0. And that's their first win of the season. They all looked so good. They've been terrible. They've been absolutely terrible in the lead up to this. But Glasner got them ticking. Wharton was back in the team looking good. Eze looked good. Mateta looked good. What's going on? What is going on? It's typical Tottenham. We're just so inconsistent. We're never going to achieve anything if we don't find consistency. And that falls at the feet of Ange Postecoglou. People know I love him to bits. I'm wearing an Ange t-shirt now because I think I love him. But today, I just can't get my head around what it was. The subs, maybe a bit too late. Should have happened at half-time. We sort of knew the direction this game was going in. But I will say, there was a thing cropping up on Twitter about what Palace might have done, and the title is How Palace Stopped Us. So I want to get a bit of debate in the comment section about this. Apparently they watered the pitch too much, meaning we couldn't zip the ball around. I think that's a poor excuse. I've always moaned about excuses such as the weather, wind, rain, external factors, the length of the grass. I think Liverpool once moaned Klopp once moaned about the length of the grass at Manchester City, and Pep went, well, we'd want the grass even shorter. We want to zip the ball round. So I don't really believe that. But the way they stopped us, Palace, they just pressed us. They pressed us so well. We couldn't play out. The second balls into the midfield were just being absolutely, pounced upon. Basuma couldn't do anything. Neither of the midfield eights could, in Kulu or Maddison. The defence couldn't pass out. They just really knew how to, really block us in, force it long, and we'd lose it up top. And that was just our downfall. Our passing was bad, as I've said. Long range, just overhit balls. Just absolutely terrible display by Spurs. And you think, last week we didn't start off amazing against West Ham, but the second half we blew them away. And you sometimes, when you see a bad first half, and I've spoken about bad Tottenham halves, because I don't think we put together two good halves in ages. As I say, let me know in the comments down below the last full 90 minutes you saw of Spurs where you were fully convinced. I'm thinking Poch era, which sounds mad to think about that. But yeah, I just feel like it's just terrible. I don't get, as I say, West Ham, we went out, we blew them away. You know that Spurs can finish games strongly. And then we get served up that tripe. Just doesn't make sense to me. It just really is poor. And you look at a player like Eze, we're dying for a player like that. Linked with him, didn't want to cough up the money. Just goes to show that, are we always just going to never really find that consistency and energy and, constant performance that we can fight out with the big boys? We're just going to sit there and just not really be good enough. You have a good result against West Ham, but you lose against Brighton. You then have Palace and you lose, but you won against Man United. It just doesn't add up. You need to find consistency. And I don't know how we do that, because I know what people will say after this. There'll be a lot of Ange out talk and we're not good enough, high line defence, no plan B. All that sort of rhetoric gets repeated. But what would you want? I don't know where we'd go from here. There's not really a manager in world football who's available to really, come in and make a stand. Even you could say Thomas Frank, is he good enough to take us up a level? I don't know. I don't know what that is. And I just feel like I want to stick always with Ange Postecoglou. I feel like we just need more time. We're still so early on into his tenure. There's no point, firing from the hip, Daniel Levy, and sacking him. I just don't see the point of that. It would be reckless and detrimental to the whole football club. So I'm backing that decision for him to stay. But things need to change. So many mistakes. The West Ham goal came from a mistake again today. Why are we playing it out like that? Why are we even putting Mickey van der Ven into that position? We've seen the pitch has been walled. He's more likely probably to slip. But yeah, very worrying. And ahead of a game against Manchester City in the Cup, where we don't know if they're going to play a weak team. I said in my other videos, it's a big week for Spurs this. A lot of games thick and fast ahead of December. We should be getting points on the board. We got the points on the board in the Europa League. We just, in the Premier League, it's just been absolutely abysmal. And where does that even leave us in the Premier League table? It sort of sums it up there at this stage of the season. I don't even know where we stand. After that game, funny enough, that fixture we played at the same time last season, we were top of the league. We're now, where are we now? 8th. We're 8th from 13 points. And it's, 4-1, 1 draw, 4 lost. It just doesn't look like a good form guide, does it? 18 goals for, 10 goals against. It's worrying, because the losses have just been, what have they been? Just some of the results like Leicester, Arsenal, Newcastle, where we look strong. But today, we just looked absolutely weak. And as I said, let me know in the comments down below. What's going wrong? What was wrong today? What did you feel was the reason that Spurs were just absolutely poor? I'm trying to hold back from swear. I nearly said something else before the word poor there. But yeah, my head's gone. I'm absolutely seething and boiling. I've nearly just kicked the tripod over just by swinging my foot. I just need to go now and watch Arsenal versus Liverpool, and hopefully Liverpool get some points in my fantasy team. I put Kulo into my fantasy team. He got me a yellow card. Yeah, calm down. But yeah, I'm going to go and watch that. Hopefully Liverpool beat Arsenal. and everything's okay in the world. But until next time, if you've liked it, leave a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let me know in the comments down below, what do you want me to discuss before the Man City game? Because at the moment, my head's on Mars. But until then, ciao Bella, love you all, cheers for subscribing, I really appreciate your support on the channel. Cheerio!